Reckless Banter. My name's Rain.
I'm Amanda.
You like that one?
I loved it, actually.
I was going
I
to.
wasn't expecting it.
Yeah, me neither.
So
It
it
just
kind of like
literally
it
just
threw me
came
off.
out.
It threw me off for a second, but I was like, you know what? I kind of love it a little bit.
There's so many times where I'm in my car and I'm like, because
Practicing.
I want to make like a different, like I want to make the intro a little more fun. And
Yeah,
right, like at
yeah.
the end of it, it's like, welcome to Reckless Banter. You know, like try to sound like one of those whatever guys.
Yes.
In
I
a
could
world.
see, right? Like a trailer.
I don't think
A
I can
movie
get deep
trailer
enough.
voice.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I could see you sitting in traffic, like trying to practice different flux and
Reckless Banter.
tones and like
Yeah.
styles and be like, okay, put a pin in that one. 'Cause that one could be cool.
That's
Yeah,
pretty
no, I
funny.
absolutely loved it.
But yeah, we're back here. It's a Sunday. It's been another week, another long
has.
week.
Yes.
It we had like torrential downpours here the other day, which, you know, as every old man I ever known in my life always says, well, we needed it. We did need it.
I say that every time because we do.
I swear, like when I was younger, it would rain for like 6 months straight, and you would still
Yes.
find that one old man. It's like, well, we need it.
Oh
Like,
yeah, no. When
people
I
are
was
going
younger,
to school in boats, bro. Like, we don't
yeah,
need it.
right? Like we're gonna be canoeing the shit out of this down the neighborhood. But yeah, no, I remember. I just feel like when I was younger, and it could be because when you're young, you typically hate the rain,
Yeah.
right? It just seemed like it would like if it started raining, it was at least raining for the full day,
Right.
right? Like, and then like lately, we just keep getting like big downpours, but they're for like 5 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
10 minutes. Like
Yeah.
nothing's really like the ground's not staying saturated at all. But of course, every time I'm like, well, we needed it. And I'm okay with the rain because that means I can just sit my ass down
What's
and not do
crazy,
anything.
yeah. What's crazy is when you see, like, driving by the lake, you see boats sitting on dirt, you know, because the water
Yes.
levels are so low. But then we'll get those,
Yes.
like, just out of nowhere for like an hour. It just rains like a motherfucker.
I
And
know.
then the roads are flooded. It's like the whole, what is it? Like the funnel. Like a,
Yeah.
you know, it's not enough time for it to
To
go
actually
everywhere.
like disperse and
Right,
like
right.
actually get like into the ground and kind of disperse. Yeah, no, it yeah, I think the scariest time that happened to me was actually the weekend when we were down in Savannah when me and Darren got married. We did one of those ghost tours,
Mm.
and we did the ones in the hearse. Highly recommend it, y'all. It
Like you
was
rode in a
freaking awesome.
hearse?
Yeah, they cut the top of the hearse off, right? Because
Wow.
it was an actual hearse, and they like put seats in the back, so you were kind of sitting up a little bit, so you could kind of see out everything. And we did it with our wedding party, so it was just us and the driver, and in the middle of it, a huge hurricane came through Savannah and Tybee, and it literally flooded. Trees were down, power outages, everything was down, and I'm sitting there and everybody's freaking out, and I'm like, well, at least we're already in the hearse.
Yeah.
I mean, like at least we're like that's like half the battle, right? Like it's
Yeah.
like at least we're already
We're here.
in the hearse, so we won't have to like
We just
we made
skipped
it
all the
easier.
expensive steps.
Yes, yes, but then it was so funny because the way Savannah is like it floods every time it rains, but the the drainage system and stuff, the way that they
Hmm.
designed it, within like 15 minutes everything was like dry as crap.
I was
Like
gonna say,
all the water is gone, everything goes out, but like because it happened so fast.
isn't Savannah sort of on the ocean or close to it?
Yeah, yeah, it's right there on like the yeah. It's like it's not inland at all. It's right on the coast, but there's like the Savannah River feeds into the ocean, so and that's where it kind of sits on
Mm,
there.
gotcha.
So yeah. But no, it was just like it's like damn, this was not we're like going over trees and going through roads and yards and all these and I'm just like, yeah, we're going to die. Yeah, this is great.
You know,
This is
there's
great.
like, there's actual cities and towns that are currently underwater. Like they've been underwater for years and years and years.
Mhm.
I think it would be so cool to get a diving tank and just go down there and swim through people's houses. Like, how
Oh yeah,
fun would
no,
that be?
It would be super cool. Well, and one of the most famous of that in at least Georgia is Lake Lanier, right? And everybody says Lanier's haunted. And it was because it was a town, and unfortunately it was where the black people lived. It was like a
Mm.
little town that was just where the black population lived. And they wanted to put the lake there, and the story goes like they flooded this whole town without telling anybody.
Like
Kind of,
just
it was
one
like an
day
immediate
started.
evict, yeah. And they just started doing it. So there's a lot of drownings, there's a lot of crazy stuff that happens linear. We might need to look into some ghost stories when we get into spooky season, because that
Yeah,
might be a good one.
that's a good. Yeah.
um but they're like, you can see the church steeple still, like if you go deep down, like you can see the church steeple, you can see like the roofs and stuff of the buildings. And I always like, it scares the shit out of me, but at the same time, I've always wanted to, like, see that. Like, I'm like, that would be so
Yeah.
insane to, like, be swimming in the lake and you go deep down enough and you come across this, like, steeple on a
I
church
was gonna
that's
say
just,
it'd be wild if the steeple was kind of poking out of the water, but even what you said, like being able to go down and find that would
and
just
see
be.
it would be, it'd be so cool. Like,
It's stuff
how
like that
crazy.
like because like you can read history books, you can do this, you can do that, but when you find something that is underwater, or like I saw this story not too long ago about this girl who was found on top of this mountain like 500 years, well she's from 500 years ago,
Mm,
and they
mhm.
found her like perfectly preserved because she was
Wow.
frozen,
Because of the,
and
yeah.
they still keep her frozen to this day just so they can like
It's easier to
research
study
her.
her that way, I
Right,
would
exactly.
imagine. Yeah, because once she's thawed, everything changes, right? The
Yeah.
chemicals change, the
Mm-hmm.
everything changes, and then she would also not be as pristine as far as her face and skin.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no
Like
telling what would happen
her
once she's been
hands
thawed.
were almost perfect. Like
Wow.
it was so cool to watch, and like seeing something like that like actually gives you physical proof that there is a past, because like I
Yes.
said, we read history books, we hear this, we hear that, and like all we ever all it ever is we hear about the past. But when you see something like
Yeah.
the human body or a church underwater or whatever it may be, like dinosaur bones, like I'm not 100% sure if I
Yeah, I mean, no, and
100% believe, yeah, like I don't know.
I'm kind of like, I get where you're coming from with that, because there's way, it's still way open ended,
Hmm.
right? Like, cuz then, like, what was it, like within the last like 5 or 6 years they talked about how one of the dinosaurs we thought was a thing is actually not. It
The
was
long necks.
parts of two dinosaurs together, so it was
Yeah.
actually two different ones instead of the one that we thought. And then I did see a theory the other day where they were talking about the T-Rex having such short arms didn't make any sense for the predator, right? And I was like, well, no, poor little baby can't do shit, right? But then they were talking about maybe it's not arms, that he actually has had wings.
uh,
And I was like, well, I mean, we don't know, right? Like,
I think I
we
remember being
we don't know
taught
shit.
that a T-Rex was like 50 feet tall, but then later in life found out that it was really wasn't like that big at all. Like it
No,
was
I think,
big, but it wasn't
yeah, like, I think they're like, oh man, I don't even know, but
like
I would
50 feet
imagine they're
tall
like,
is two telephone poles
it,
stacked on top of each other.
yes,
That's
that
really
is
high.
roughly like a 4 to 5 story building.
Yeah.
That's really, and again, to have arms that are so much shorter just did
Hmm.
not make, like, it doesn't make evolutionary sense. Like, it really doesn't,
That some
right?
bitch falls over, he ain't getting up.
He's fucked, right? Like, you got an itch? No, man, you're just gonna
Yeah.
struggle for the rest of your
He
existence.
never
Don't
wiped
worry
his
though, because
ass.
it won't be long, right? Because something's taking y'all out. But I was just like, yeah, I mean, because like we don't know, and I actually. Because I'm a huge history person and I'm a nerd that way, but I love Josh Gates and all of his expedition file shows,
Uh,
right? Like, I'm obsessed with them. So I was watching a new episode and it was about the jar people in Laos, and they found these jars that were made out of stone, and it's one piece of stone and it's thousands of them.
wow.
Well, they can never figure out what they're for, right? And so throughout the episode they're talking about what they found and what stuff. come to find out, their theory right now is that they are tombs, basically, for their dead, and they found pieces of bone remains, human remains, in a couple of them, not all of them, but in a couple of them. And so they were able to piece together the skull and put a face on him. And when I saw the face, it was kind of like what you were talking about, like that history where it's just like I kind of got chills because you're staring at somebody
Yeah.
that literally lived like 1,000+ years ago, that you're just like, what?
It's not
It
it's
was chills. I
unfathomable.
loved it.
Like it.
Yeah, like right in my face. And sometimes it doesn't happen all the time, but that one did kind of, it did move me a little bit to see like a face.
Yeah, it's weird. It's different.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's really cool.
No, I love
Um
it.
so today's episode we got a couple stories. They might be a little sad, but I just felt like just bringing them to light cuz
Yeah,
they're a little dark, but we got to bring the light.
I agree.
Um
Sometimes you got to talk the tough stuff, right?
yeah, yeah. I guess we'll start with the most recent one cuz cuz it was so recent. But
Yeah.
so this past Monday at like 8 o'clock in the morning, um, a paramedic was in the ambulance, working on a patient in the back and everything. She's just doing her job, whatever. Coming up, you remember 74? It's just like a
Mhm. I
regular
do.
highway type
It's
of
just a
thing.
regular, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, it's a smaller highway. Like it's not like a big interstate,
yeah.
right? Like a 75 or an 85, but yeah.
But and like I said, 8 o'clock in the morning. So they're traveling. I assume they're going towards the hospital because she's working on a patient in the back.
Mhm.
And out of nowhere, a guy comes up going over 100 miles an hour and just slams into the back of the ambulance. And
That's so tragic.
yeah, and so it's like you can look at pictures. The ambulance is laid down on its side and everything. And it was weird because when I first really started reading about this, it's almost like I could just imagine it in my mind.
Yeah,
The
like you saw it happening.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
car slams into the back. It
Mm.
pushes up the ambulance and it pushes it on its side. And the girl who was working on somebody in the back ended up flying out of the ambulance and died on scene.
Mm.
And it's super sad. It's really really sad. She had been a paramedic for 9 years. She was well respected. She was, from what I've read, she was just an amazing human being. She loved what she did. She went
Mhm.
out of her way to take care of people. And the guy that hit her, he, like I said, he was doing over 100 miles an hour. Um, from what I've read, uh, he's got quite a background, a history, and some of that is drinking and driving, DUIs, whatever. And
Mhm.
this particular one, he got a DWI for this accident. There was something I saw where people were claiming that it wasn't alcohol, it was something else, whatever, but it's a DUI, which I either driving while impaired or driving while I don't know.
Right, right. It depends on the
Yeah.
last I, right? Like whatever you want to
Right.
say.
Yeah.
Like if it's impaired or
Yeah.
you know.
But like we all struggle, and I think maybe this is why it kind of bothers me a little bit too, is we all struggle, and I know this guy did some bad thing. It's not like he wasn't some, like out just hurting people or anything intentionally. He was just making some stupid mistakes. Maybe he
Mhm.
had some some deeper issues, which is why he was on substances and whatnot. But not only is it sad for the girl that passed away, her name's Ashley Moore, I think, but
Mhm.
it is sad for him too because I know that he didn't mean to kill this girl, and
No, I would
and
hope not.
well, I would hope not either. I'm assuming, but I would
Right.
I would assume like he did not mean to kill this girl, and by doing what he was doing was a decision, but he didn't
Mhm.
decide to kill somebody. He just decided to drive like a crazy
To do
person.
something that could potentially lead to somebody
Yeah,
losing their life,
and
including himself.
that particular highway where it happened was So if you're coming out of Shelby and coming
Mm-hmm.
towards the interstate,
Mm-hmm.
like right as you're coming towards the interstate, there's like an intersection or something before you get there, and that's basically where it happened.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
And
Okay, I can actually see it. That's
being
weird.
8 o'clock in the morning, and he's doing well over 100.
That's the part that bugs me
That
about
is
it.
100 miles an hour on that road. Like like
8 a.m.
there's not a
You're
shitload of traffic right there, but there is traffic.
there is a well, because you have to think too. That includes morning traffic. Thank God school wasn't in, right?
Right.
I mean, you're
Yeah.
talking about people starting their days.
Mm-hmm.
And the high, you're right, like the interstate right there is right there at highway. So if you're needing to go into Charlotte or you're needing to go down into South Carolina, like it's right there. And the 8 a.m. is the part that that's the part that gets me. It's like I understand to an extent, um, you know, substance abuse and all those things, right? We've all been there. Life sucks ass
Mm.
most of the time. Um, and there's nothing we can really do about it. And so I can understand the human side of things where stuff's going on. My issue is it's 8 a.m. in the fucking morning
Yeah.
on a Monday.
That
On a
that's
Monday.
that's the
The
thing
fuck
too.
are you doing?
On a Monday, yeah.
Like,
Being
like I'm sorry, I'm gonna judge the fuck out of him right now because like, what are you doing with your life to be so fucked on a Monday morning, right?
yeah, I
That
mean,
you are going to like whatever the fuck you did or whatever you were feeling that led up to you doing so many wrong things.
I'm guessing this guy pulled an all-nighter and was heading home or something. Maybe I don't know. Maybe he was on his way
Probably,
to
most
work, like
likely. I
whatever.
would hope he's not going to work. Good night.
Or maybe he pulled an almost all-nighter, slept for an hour, and then got in his car. Is like, I gotta
Was like,
go.
"Oh, I gotta go." Yeah, and then starts, but like, what in the hell are you doing going 100 miles an
Yeah,
hour?
that's.
I mean,
I mean,
fucking A, all right, Ricky Bobby, like Jesus Christ. Like,
like yeah,
and
like
especially like, and right there, one, you really can't go 100 miles an hour
hmm
there because you do have red lights, you do have stuff, you've people merging right from other parts of stuff to get onto 70. Like, you've got a lot of stuff going on. And I have never been a need for speed kind of girl
hmm
per se, but especially when it involves other lives, right? Like, what the hell are you going 100 miles an hour for?
yeah.
Really? See, like when I'm tired, because I don't drink, so I don't do the driving while intoxicated stuff. But when I'm tired, I end up going like a lot slower.
I do as well. I do as
Yeah,
well.
like I
Like
slow the fuck down.
when I'm tired, I'm too lazy to drive, and I'm only
Yeah, I'm just
driving
like
just enough to
tut
get
tut.
there.
Yeah, like just tutting along at like
Yeah.
30 miles an hour. I'm
You
like,
don't even
Jesus
want to
Christ.
push the pedal.
No,
Like,
no, right? Like I'm afraid that I'm gonna forget which pedal is which because I'm so
yeah.
tired, right? Like so I can't imagine it being Monday morning, people are getting their days started, and you're fucking drunk or whatever intoxicated ass is going over 100 miles an hour down 74. Like, what were you doing with your life? Where are your people at? Because I'm sorry, like if my friend was that bad off, I feel like, I mean, not that it would necessarily make a difference, but like because I did see the that what was it, his mom was quoted saying something about like, oh, he just made a bad decision. Did he, Martha? Now I don't know her name, y'all, so I'm just throwing a name out there. But did he make a bad decision? Did
I
he?
I saw that his dad had spoke out or
It sounds
something.
like he made 100 bad
Yeah.
decisions and then killed somebody.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. He just he pushed it one too many times. Like of
And it's always that last time, right? Everybody's like, "Oh, I had 3 DUIs and then I hit a bicyclist or I
hmm
ran into a ditch or whatever the case may be." It's like, "Well, yeah, I would hope that's the last time, dipshit." Like,
yeah.
let's make the first time the last time.
I'm wondering what kind of sentence he'll get. I know they're
The charges were what? Second degree, right?
yeah, I read them, but I can't remember.
And it is pretty early, so I'm sure as the investigation goes, they could potentially change those or add additional charges.
Yeah, here it says he had a past DWI conviction and a history of missing court for traffic violations and failing to pay the
Oh,
fines. Yeah.
are we surprised by that at
He
all?
was driving a Dodge Challenger, by the way, so clearly it wouldn't take him long to get to 100 miles an hour.
No, no, and I've never driven one of those cars, but I would imagine it doesn't
Yeah.
take a lot of
This,
effort to
this
put
said
the gas pedal down enough to be going pretty
this,
fast.
this says that history supports second degree murder charge. So I I I never really thought about it, but I sort of learned this not too long ago where like manslaughter is you didn't
Your
you didn't
your
mean to kill
your
somebody.
actions led to
Yeah.
somebody's death, right? Yeah, there was no intent there,
And a murder
right?
charge is it was could have been
More intent, right.
yeah, like
So, the
premeditated,
first
like even if
versus
yeah.
non-premeditated.
And
Mhm.
I heard that even like if you're sitting in a room and somebody pisses you off and then you're thinking, okay, I'm gonna kill this motherfucker,
Yeah,
that's even considered
premeditation
premeditated.
yeah, premeditation can be within a second,
Hmm.
right?
So
Versus non. The difference though is you would have to prove the intent, right?
mhm,
So with this being an automobile accident, right? And him being impaired, that kind of takes that is going to make it more difficult for a prosecution to try to prove intent. Like he maliciously intended to kill that woman,
mhm,
right? And that's where the second degree comes in. It's like, well, your actions led directly to somebody's death, but there was no intent of causing that particular death.
I would think that would be vehicular manslaughter, like you
It depends on how hard they want to go and the jurisdiction.
and
Sometimes the jurisdiction will change it.
his previous record, I guess, too, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Like and it they might have wanted to go for a harder like a harder charge because he was impaired.
Hmm.
Like maybe if it was like, you know, a malfunction in the car, or maybe he was just speeding, but he was sober, maybe, or he swerved to not hit something and hit an ambulance. Like that could be more of like a vehicular manslaughter
What would you
charge.
like? Can you imagine accidentally killing somebody?
No, no. I always figured if I did it, it would definitely be on purpose. So yeah, accidentally.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Um,
And I don't like
I
prison, so
just can't.
therefore that's why I have not done that. So,
I
but
can't
I can't.
imagine that feeling. Like he's sitting there in a cell right now, sober, whatever, knowing what he did, and it's like, oh my god, like that's your life.
Yeah.
It's over.
Well, and that's why like it is so important, and I know everybody says it, and it's so much easier said than done, but it's just like literally every decision that you make can either lead you down a road of success or can put you in prison, right? Like the decision that he made the night before led to him being in that car at that point. The decision made to be going that fast for whatever reason made you like all of these decisions that if one of them were changed, right? Maybe he
Hmm.
doesn't go home. Maybe he passes back out in his car,
Hmm.
right? To sober up. Or maybe he's not speeding, right? Or maybe he goes a different way home, right? Like all of these little things, one decision change could have led in a completely different direction.
And that
And that
crazy,
sucks. Yeah.
like you could have 10 years ago decided to eat tacos rather than a salad, and those tacos might have shit your stomach up, and then you're on the
Hmm.
toilet, which caused you to miss something, and then the course of your entire life is different than if
Yep.
had you just ate that salad.
Yep, absolutely. Like that's the crazy thing, and that's what's kind of so scary, especially when that realization hits you, right? Like when you
Mm-hmm.
become aware enough for those things to be like, well, if I decided to go on that date with that person instead of backing out, what would be different, right? Or if I decided to not have a child or versus have a child. Like all of these different or work at this place instead of that place. Like
Mm-hmm.
I know sometimes I'll get caught up in thinking like, how did I how do I know this person, right? Like the people that come into my life and I'll play the little game of like spider web of like,
Yeah, yeah,
okay,
I've done that.
I met this person because of this, right? Whether it was work or through another person or whatever. Like even with you, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
if you think about it and you go back, it's like, okay, well, if he wasn't Pops's neighbor and they didn't have a good relationship and he'd like we wouldn't have necessarily crossed paths.
And with even that, like I
Mhm.
had to make a certain
Like
certain decisions
yes.
and do certain things, and
Yes,
so did
to
you
create
in
that,
order
yeah.
us for us to
Like,
meet.
if we didn't move to Shelby, like, if we weren't like,
Yeah.
"Okay, we're gonna move out of
Or
state,"
if
right?
we just
Like
happen to not live next to Woofy, like
exactly, like, it would have been, like and if you think about stuff like that, and then you take it to a different scale of, like, your decisions, like, "Okay, I work with for this company because of these things," and you backtrack stuff,
mm-hmm.
it can start kind of freaking you out a little
it
bit
I'm
about how
t-
the smallest little change could just
yeah.
completely fuck it up,
I
right?
I've done that where I start
Mhm.
tracing back, and then it, like it spider webs out, like you said, like
Yeah.
it just spider
It's
webs
just
out, and
all
it's
these different
there's
things.
so many decisions amongst so many different people in
Mhm.
order for certain, like that is
For
just
that to happen, and I think because, you know, you don't think about it or maybe not a lot of people have even thought about even doing that before. You kind of like, you know, you take for granted the likelihood of two people being in the spot of where you and another person happen to be
mm-hmm.
and how unlikely that is.
Yeah.
Right? And it's just mind-blowing of just, like, one little thing, right? Like, just one little thing, and
Even
it's just crazy.
yeah, one little thing for two people to end up in the same place, but then you have those times where like and maybe you stop at this gas station every single morning and you see the same people at the same time because they're going to work as well, so it's like
Routine. Mhm.
these routines create these interactions
Yep.
on many
Like,
different occasions.
yes, and it's like, is that purposeful or
Yeah,
not,
yeah.
right? Is that routine meant for you? Like, are those interactions meant for you, or are they setting them up for other interactions that's meant for them,
Hmm.
right? And it's just like this crazy network of like universal things, right? That's just like, oh shit, right? Like you can get lost there for a while
It's almost
if you think
like
about it.
yeah, it's almost like we all kind of rely on each other not to make the decisions for ourselves, but our decisions have to rely on other people's decisions that aren't even, that don't even know each other or something in order for other things to happen. It
Yes,
takes
and
multiple people's multiple decisions in order to make this
that
happen.
moment, right?
Yeah,
And
right.
that's what's so easily taken for granted, right? Like that moment, right? Because me and my best friend Alyssa, we have been friends since we were 6 years old, and her son is getting old enough to the point where he knows that we've been friends pretty much all her whole lives, but
Mm-hmm.
he's getting old enough now to where he can like actually comprehend how long that is,
Yeah.
right? So it was kind of like blowing his mind that we've been friends for 30 some odd years now, and he's like, you know, he was asking me, he was like, "Well, how did y'all meet?" And I was like, "Oh, well, we met on the playground." She was in a different kindergarten class, and they had just moved here from California because her parents worked for AT&T, and there was a big AT&T hub in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
And I stopped for a second because I realized how crazy that is.
Yeah.
You know, because it's like, okay, this girl from San Francisco, like the Bay Area, her family relocates to Atlanta and they happen to choose the suburb that is, you know, 30 miles from the city, that happens to be a mile from my house. We happen to be going to the same elementary school. We're in different kindergarten classes, which I don't know if y'all remember kindergarten very much, but you didn't really talk to people that weren't in your class,
I don't know a
right?
single soul from kindergarten.
Exactly. Like you didn't. So the fact and it was funny because My friend from the year prior was in her kindergarten class, and so that's the only reason we were talking,
Mm-hmm.
is because she had met her in her class, and so when we would recess together, she'd be like, "Oh, this is the new girl." And I'm like, "Hey, you know, fast forward 30 some odd years later, you know, it is what it is." But it's like when you think about stuff like that, again, it kind of goes down to what if they decided to live in Smyrna instead of Marietta?
Mm.
Or what if they didn't take the job in Atlanta? What if they moved to a different city or didn't move at all? Like,
Yeah.
it's just, she wouldn't have been in my life. And that's just kind of like, what would that even look like? Right.
When
And that's crazy.
when I was in when I was in elementary school,
Hmm.
I lived at the beach on Oak Island.
Hmm.
And when I was in third grade, I'm trying to think if I knew him. I had this friend named Ben, and
Hmm.
I might have known him before third grade, but I know for sure we were in the same class in third grade. But anyways, third grade we were in the same class. Like
Hmm.
we sat next to each other, did project whatever, you know. And then when I got to fifth grade, my parents split, and my mom and I moved to Mooresville. So that's
Hmm.
like 4 hours away. Um, so then I start going to school, and when I get into middle school, I make a friend. His name's Joey, and he ended up becoming like one of my best friends all the way throughout high school and everything. He's
Hmm.
been to both of my weddings. But so I met Joey, and then one random day, like, and I used to, like, outside of school, like, Joey didn't live too far from me, and I would
Hmm.
go hang out at his house or whatever. And one day he was telling me, he's like, "Hey, my cousin," or no, while we were in school, he found out that I lived in Oak Island. He said, "Oh, my cousin lives in Oak Island," and I was like, "What's his name?" And he's like, "Ben," and I was like, "I know a Ben." So then
Right.
one weekend, like, I was hanging out with Joey, and he's like, "My cousin Ben's coming up," and it was the same dude that I was in
That
school
is
with.
so fucking
Like
cool. Like, I love that.
they're cousins, and I was good friends with Ben before I moved to Mooresville. And when I moved to Mooresville, I meet Joey, and then
That is
they're
so
related.
crazy.
It was
I
so
love that.
wild.
That is so weird, and again, the likelihood of that happening is
Yeah,
so low.
so rare.
Like, you're more likely to be killed by your cat, right? Like, by, like, a lot
Your
because it's a
face
cat,
is
but,
gonna
like,
be
your
eaten off.
hamster, okay?
Yeah,
Like, whichever, but you're more likely for that something like that, like, 1,000 Ways to Die kinda thing
yeah.
versus something like that, and it's just like, that is crazy, but that's why all the decisions, right? We're having to make them blindly.
Mm-hmm.
But I do also, at the end of the day, believe that whichever direction we end up, we do end up where we're supposed to be, right? It might just be the long way versus the
Mm-hmm.
shorter way. But I do think that, playing with fate too many times is a dangerous game to play.
Mm-hmm.
And so when decisions are being made, maybe don't make the ones that could lead to other people perishing. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. Well, you know,
If you're gonna play with somebody, play with yourself
it
kind of thing. You know?
it comes to that thing where, you know, I don't know about you, but I mean, I've driven fast a few times, like faster than I should have, and you get that mentality where you feel a little bit invincible, like you're like, I have control, you know, but
Yeah.
anything could happen,
Yeah, absolutely.
anything.
I mean, and that's I don't know, like it always, and it could just be me. It's probably just me because I'm a weirdo, but I always hated when people would say stuff like that, like, "Oh, teenagers don't think anything bad can happen
Hmm.
to them." Maybe I was just so utterly self-aware. It probably did not help
It
that my
could have been the way you were
sister was
raised.
Atlanta
Yeah,
PD,
yeah.
right? I was like, "Oh, no, I'm very aware all these really bad things can happen to
Growing up,
me."
my mom made me fear a lot of things, but once I got older, I started kind of, opening my eyes a bit and
Being a
under.
little bit more realistic with your
Right,
fears.
right. But I forgot what the hell I said. All right, so this is back from 2018, back in 2018.
Mhm.
So, one Sunday afternoon, a family in Bessemer City. They had went to church and everything, and then they went to a restaurant called Surf and Turf Lodge, which is in Bessemer City. And
Mhm.
this was like a normal thing for them. Family would go to church and then go eat. You know,
Go
it's the
eat.
typical Southern church family thing. Like go to church,
Yes.
go eat.
And then you go eat because
And
that's your reward for going to church.
is that what it is?
I think that's what it is.
Okay.
That's what I always looked at it
Yeah,
as.
I get it.
Like, yes, we get to eat after this.
Go praise God a little, and then we get to eat good.
Exactly. And then we'll get to go eat after this.
That's funny. But so they went to the restaurant and everything, and it was quite a decent sized group, like this family or whatever, and they're all sitting there, and the dad of the group, I don't know how to say it or whatever, but just the dad.
Hmm.
His name's Roger Self, and
Hmm.
so he was a retired police officer. I don't know if he was a sheriff or not. I can't remember, but I know for sure he's a retired police officer, and he had been having some pretty major mental health issues, like really bad depression, all this that, and like it was like the type of thing that would just on a dime he would just go into this deep dark depression.
Hmm.
And so while they were out at their family outing after church, they're all sitting there and everything, and the father decides to get up and walk outside, and nobody really thought much of it because they knew that in, you know, settings where there's kind of a lot of people around, he would kind of get or not
Be
agitated, but
like overstimulated,
get,
a lot
yeah,
of stuff going
overstimulated,
on.
anxious,
Yeah.
whatever. So he goes out to the car, gets in the car, and they're all still in the restaurant, and he ends up driving around the parking lot a time or two, and then after he comes around the parking lot, he just full blast straight into the restaurant. I don't know if it was a doorway or a window that he ran into.
I think it
Accelerated his
was.
SUV directly through the front of the restaurant, crashing
Okay.
into the very table. Okay, yeah. So he crashed into the restaurant, like the front, and crashed straight into the table where his family was sitting, which is wild. Like, did they ask to sit where they sat, or did they just happen to be sitting there and he just,
I
that the way that worked out?
right. Yeah. Well, and
Not
now
that
see
this
for
is any
me.
kind of conspiracy. It's the what are the odds?
Right. Well, if it's a bigger group, right, I'm sure that that
Might have
also
been
had to
us.
do something because of like the size of the table and like where it's positioned in the restaurant. You can fit more people
Yeah.
more towards a certain way than a wall or whatever. I when I when you when I when I first read that story, and I don't know much more about it, but I had to read it a couple times because I was just so dumbfounded by, like, my first thought was, "Fuck you, selfish cunt."
Yeah.
Like, that was, like, my first thought because it's just like, okay, yes, can your family members piss you off? Abso-fucking-lutely. I don't even talk to half of mine anymore. Okay, I get it. But, like, his granddaughter
No,
was,
his daughter and his daughter-in-law.
yeah, that, like, what in the hell? Like, I don't care how dark y'all are.
It is crazy, and
That's not
like
okay.
I don't know, like I understand. I don't want to say that. I don't fully understand mental health, and
No.
like the like maybe he had a episode where it's just it's really hard to say, honestly. It truly is.
No,
But
because
if it was a
that would be intent.
men- if it was related to his mental health.
Well, I mean, because you have to think about it. Again, here we are, because he made the decision to leave the table and he was circling the parking lot. That means he was thinking about it. He was thinking about something and
Right.
then
Yeah.
purposely, it's not like he drove his car into a pole to try to end his life,
Mm-hmm.
right? He purposely drove into the restaurant knowing that his family was sitting right there and that he could cause the most amount of damage to them with his vehicle. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Like, I'm
But
sorry, there is no defense.
what I'm saying, like, I'm not taking up for him, but what I'm saying is, I believe it's possible to, have an episode for somebody who's mentally unstable to just almost be not taken over by like a demon or anything, but just kind of be taken over subconsciously, maybe. I don't know, but he ended up he slammed in the building, which was complete chaos, and like his entire vehicle, which I can see a picture. It looks like a Jeep Grand
It was
Cherokee.
like an SUV kind
Yeah.
of, wasn't it? Yeah.
All the way in the building. His daughter passed away. His daughter was a deputy sheriff for Gaston County, I think. And then his daughter-in-law passed away as well, and she was an ER nurse in Gaston County, I think. Um,
So motherfucking heroes. Okay.
it's yeah, and he, like I said, he was a police officer himself. It's wild. Like, what does it's just one of those things, like, you just like, what could possibly have gotten into this guy to just like, did somebody really piss him off? Was there more to it than just, I'm having an episode and I want to kill my family? Like, do you think he wanted to kill his family, you know for a,
I would imagine yeah, he fully intended to kill them. Because like I
yeah,
said,
yeah.
there was so many other places he could have crashed his car, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or he could have just not gotten in his car and walked it off, right? Like I have a hard time, again, I also do not try to understand mental health. I personally don't have any issues that I'm aware of as far as my mental health.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get depressed, or I mean, I get a little bit depressed, but not into that dark place that a lot of people have described, and I hate that. That sounds just awful. And I don't wish that on anybody. But at the same time, there has to be a line that is drawn to, where is that line for grace? Where's that line of excuse? Where is that, because if you think about it, if he didn't circle the parking lot, I feel like you could kind of make a case that he would. But if he circled it, that means he, again, to me, that reads, I'm stewing, I'm thinking about it. Okay, what am I going to do? What can I do? What can I do? And then just boom. Because then you're also, selfish prick. Not only are you risking your immediate family, but you're also risking other people in the fucking restaurant.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, to me,
wait staff, other families. I mean, are you like, what the fuck? Like, if you're that, I mean, and this might sound super shitty, but like, I'm willing to die on this hill. If you are that down and that in a dark place to where you feel like there is no escape, because again, that fucker didn't die.
I was gonna say,
He didn't die.
I wonder if he was maybe thinking or hoping that he would die.
A lot of times yeah, I mean, typically with people that have like automobile related crimes, especially if they're kind of in consciousness and knowing
Mm-hmm.
what they're doing, a lot of them are going to have that, if I live, I live, if I die kind of mentality, right? Like, it's just like, I'm either going to live or I'm going to die, but at this point I don't care which, right?
Yeah.
I was thankful to hear that he did not die and that he could
Yeah.
be brought to justice, because that's one thing that does just irk the shit out of me,
Death is
is
too
when,
easy.
yes, like, when the little, like, don't get me wrong, I want them to die eventually,
Right.
but like, I want them to at least face the backlash, face the injustice, sit and stew in what you did for a little bit longer, right?
That's much worse than death.
Yeah.
Death is ultimately the easiest way out, I think.
Absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
so according to this, it says those who knew Roger described him as someone they never expected to be at the center of such tragedy. He was a former law enforcement officer who had spent years serving his community. His pastor later spoke publicly saying Roger had been battling severe depression and anxiety in recent months. According to the pastor, he had sought out professional help, was taking medication, and had become increasingly worried about his declining mental health before the incident occurred. Like, somebody see, this is kind of weird to me too, because somebody who begins to go through some extreme mental health issues isn't typically so outspoken and worried about it, because they're too focused on how bad it is where they're at in their mind at that
Right.
moment
Like
to
living
understand.
in their pool of feeling and darkness and
Right. It's
dread
like
and
an
all that.
alcoholic admitting they're an alcoholic. That's the first step to recovery.
Yes.
Like, this guy, from what it sounds like, was aware that he had some major issues going on, and it's I don't know. It's one of those, like, he still followed through with these acts knowing he had some
Some
issues.
issues
Yeah.
and maybe putting himself in triggering situations, right? Again, like you said, knowing that he's in a dark place, can go to a dark place. I'm sure that's not the first time he thought about harming people or himself. So if you're already having those thoughts of, I could really hurt somebody, I want to kill somebody, or I can hurt or kill myself, I'd like to think that that would deter you from putting yourself in a situation that could trigger those hateful thoughts. Maybe.
You would think, but like I said before, like, maybe it's just such an over, like, somebody with schizophrenia, like, they hear voices in their head, and like, the average person that doesn't have schizophrenia, like, we see, I'm not I don't know enough about it, but what I would assume, this is, like, I could be totally wrong,
Right.
but what I would assume is, like, people that don't have schizophrenia know that those voices in the schizo's head are not real.
Right.
Therefore, the schizophrenic, they're so real to them that they can't deter or even admit that, no, this is real because I hear it. But what is that? Like, schizophrenia is such a wild thing, because I've seen videos where people, they'll make like this is what it's like being schizophrenic, and it, like, shows certain kind of little visuals, and then it has these whispers and stuff in the background of voices saying stuff to you, like, and I see where people say, like, this is pretty accurate. Like, that's wild. Like, if you start hearing voices that aren't your own, and even the voice inside your inner monologue, your own voice inside your head,
We don't know who that is.
it kind of talks, like, it'll, like, I feel like my inner monologue is like, it'll go off on a tangent.
Oh, absolutely. No, and absolutely. And really, honestly, if you think about it too, that voice that we all, or at least most of us have, because I did find out a few years ago that it's not everybody that has that,
there's
which kind
people
of
that don't have inner dialogue,
which
or
kind of
whatever.
freaked me out a little bit.
That
And
is
then,
weird. Like, how do you
yeah, I'm like, how are you not?
how do you
like,
think thoughts before you say them?
Yeah, like, how? So you just don't, like, that's just, to me that, like, blows my mind more.
It's
than
so
having
weird.
multiple. Like, I'm just like, God, that sounds like
You think they'd be
really
the crazy
quiet
ones?
and lonely. No shit. But even like our voices, right? Like, we don't even know who that is,
But
right?
like, even
Or where
like,
it comes from.
let's take it this
or-
far. Let's take it this far. Like,
Okay.
I've seen this done where it's like, okay, it's like two people sitting with each other, and one guy is like, I want you to say the word apple, not out loud, but in your mind. And then you say it, apple. And then you can visualize the apple. But what you're visualizing, I don't even know what I'm trying to say. This is so out of my league. I can't. like,
Comfort zone alert.
I like to
Comfort
think I'm
zone
pretty
alert.
smart, but this shit is wild.
No, it is crazy, right?
But you
'Cause,
know
like,
how you can picture things in your brain, but like if you close your eyes, it's dark, you can't see nothing, but you can see stuff.
yes.
That
Yes.
is wild.
Because you remember like what it looks like, right? So your
Mhm.
brain like the brain that remembers stuff, right, is basically like silently telling you like, hey, this is what an apple looks like while you're talking about it or thinking about it.
Mhm.
But your actual visualization to the world is cut off, but that doesn't necessarily mean you can't see anything.
Yeah.
Right? Which is yeah, super crazy. Super duper crazy, but I feel like I feel like as a society we've taken two wrong roads when it comes to our loved ones, friends and family, right? All loved ones, not just one or the other, but it just it's a lot of the times everybody likes to say like, "Oh, I never thought." Are you sure you didn't? It didn't occur to you at all that maybe something bad could happen if this person kept, you know, drinking, or if this person didn't seek, professional help, or didn't do like it really didn't occur to you? So like you were born yesterday. Like I have a hard time believing like I would like, cuz I mean it kind of comes up too with like school shootings or these crazy acts, right? Where people around that the suspect, right, is like, "Oh, I had no idea they were suffering." Really? It didn't like not even a little bit? Like I feel like with my loved ones, like I feel a vibe shift at least, or they're acting a little different, or they're saying something where I'm just like, "You okay?" Right? Like there wasn't anything at all. Like and it's like and with this guy, right? I mean, his pastor is like, "Oh yeah, he was seeking," and it's just like, okay, did anybody follow up on that, or did his like how knowledgeable was his family in like the medications he was on, how they were making him feel, right? Because I also know a lot of times with medications, new medications or changing medications can also fuck you up, right?
Mhm.
And can mess you up worse than you were before, right? But it's like, are we, I mean, not that I'm saying that even if they did, things could have been different, but it's just like, are we just not aware of each other anymore? Or is it, do we not care? Right? Is it kind of like that thing to where you're like, you hear somebody screaming for help and you're like, I'm going to go the other way because I don't want to get mixed up in some crazy shit, right?
Mhm.
Or are we just that fucking unaware anymore of people around us?
I don't know. It takes a special kind, like, like not thinking about Eric. He was
Mhm.
on the
Yep.
podcast. Like, he doesn't believe in people who claim to be an empath,
Right.
and I I don't know, but I do know that I have strong, strong, sometimes overwhelming empathy for certain
Mhm.
situations, especially when it comes to animals.
Yes.
Like, if I hit a cat, I'm going to cry.
Oh my god, I would oh my god, I would feel so bad for fucking ever.
Yeah. Like,
I don't even wanna hit squirrels or chipmunks or
no,
anything.
I don't
Like,
care.
I cried because I saw my sister hit a squirrel one time, and because I was behind her, I was following her in the car, and I thought he was gonna get away, but the back tire got him, and I literally teared up because she hit a freaking squirrel.
And I don't like feeling bad for something versus feeling like, so like, think about like shit, what I'm trying to say. Like a like a dog that you have to put down, You think
Mhm.
about how bad off they are. Like Chloe, when I had to put her down, the day that I put her down, Connie had called me. I think I barely made it to work, and she said that her back legs weren't working. And I'm like, what do you even mean? Like, cause,
Yeah.
like it was so instant. And I
Mhm.
get home, and Chloe literally could not pick herself up on her back. Like she looked like ET trying to walk around,
Oh,
and it
bless
was
her
so
heart.
sad. And taking her to the vet, like I knew, I was like, it's time, because it was just
Mhm.
I knew it was time. And then the leg thing was like the tip off.
Like the extra, yeah,
And
push.
taking her to the vet, and just knowing in my head, and she's scared and doesn't understand, that alone, knowing that she's scared and doesn't understand, bothers me. And then like when they went to give her the shot or whatever to put her down, it wasn't enough. Like they gave her the
Oh,
shot,
shit.
and she was still just like, you could tell she was a little, you know,
Like, out of it, but
yeah, she's a
not
little
yeah.
fucked up, but she wasn't overdosing, which is what
Right,
putting an animal down is.
right.
And then they had to give her a second, when I'm just like, this is like, you're killing me.
Yeah, like, this is, like, way too much,
Like
right?
she's
For
feeling
you
this.
even.
She doesn't know why she's here. She doesn't know why she can't walk on her back. Like it's just, it eats me alive,
Mhm.
And knowing and seeing an animal in distress, it just like, it's like I'm feeling what they're feeling, and it
Yes.
is overwhelming at times.
Yes. Yes.
And
Yes, it is.
I'm not like trying to just like be like, hey, I can feel this. I want you to think I'm amazing. Like I truly like, I don't like it. I don't like,
No, I don't like it
and I don't
either,
want to
so
say I'm an empath, but I do have these feelings.
well, and I do believe in empaths. I do believe that that is a thing, contrary to Eric's previous statements. I do believe it's a thing, and I say that I believe it's a thing because it's not just about like this invisible line of feelings and emotions is connecting into your body and you're like, I know what this person's feeling. It's not like that. Like it's subtle. You become ultra aware to subtle changes, right?
Yeah.
And your body is aware of those. And so you're adapting to what you're trying to understand is happening, right?
Mm-hmm.
Especially if it's somebody that you spend a lot of time a lot of time with, spouse, roommate, siblings, things like that. Like you pick up on changes of tone or their posture or their eye movements, even like just small subtle changes to where, okay, what's wrong, right? Like why are you upset, what's going
Mm-hmm.
on? But the thing is that when it comes to empaths, a lot of times they become people pleasers. And they don't become people pleasers on purpose. They tend to become people pleasers out of selfishness because they're being not controlled, but like let's say they're being what's the word I'm looking for? Influenced,
I was gonna
right?
say, do they become people pleasers because they don't want this person to
To
feel,
be upset,
yeah,
right? Because then their moods and their body languages and
effect?
their stuff is being influenced by another person, so they end up becoming
Right.
people pleasers because just out of selfish necessity, right? Not malicious,
I
but it's
love.
like, "Hey, I don't want I don't want this person to be upset around me because it's exhausting."
Mm-hmm.
Right? And so I am going to do everything that I can to make this person happy. And then that explodes out as you grow up into your friends, your coworkers, all these people because you don't even realize that that's why you're doing it,
I can
right?
totally relate to that, because it comes down to like, when you're with your significant other and you're trying to figure out where you want to eat,
Mhm.
like, and they're like, well, you pick, I don't care. And if I pick something that they don't really like, but they're gonna, settle,
Right.
it like I'm like I can't do that. Like you got to like what you're eating otherwise.
Right, right. Or I'm going to be miserable, right? Like
Right.
it's gonna ruin my dinner
Yeah,
experience as
like
well.
if you're not
Yes.
happy, then I'm not happy.
Yes,
Is
and a
it,
lot of like so a lot of people like cuz I've come across people that are like, "Oh, I'm a total people pleaser." And I'm like, "Okay. So you're just a selfish empath is what it is, and you're just trying to manipulate, again, not maliciously, but you're trying to manipulate the people around you
mhm.
to where you can regulate your mood, right? And your you know
I just want you to be happy so I can finally
yeah,
be
so then
happy.
I can be fucking happy because you are exhausting, right? Because like no hate, right? But like being around somebody who's angry all the time or depressed all the time or sad all the time, it's fucking exhausting and it's annoying because it's like I
It's
want to be happy. I am not depressed. What the fuck is wrong with you?
it's
Right?
very exhausting. And
Yes, it is.
not just because of them complaining all the time or this and that, but
Yes.
you
But the
feel what they're
vibe,
feeling, the vibe,
yes,
yeah, the
the
vibe.
vibe changes, and I think it's more of just people either being empathic or not is more about people who are more aware versus not,
Mhm.
right? Like you have like, and again, like typically narcissists, again, not maliciously, not meaning that in a bad way, they don't tend to be empaths because they don't give a fuck about how anybody else is feeling unless it directly affects them, right?
Oh man,
But then
that's
they're manipulating you in a different way.
mhm.
So I think it's just people who are more aware of their surroundings and can pick up on cues. Like I said, like, posture, facial expressions, eye changes, breathing. I mean, and you don't even realize that you're picking up on it. But we are taking in so much more than we think we are of our surroundings,
Yeah.
right? And so I think it's just being aware and giving a shit versus not and not giving a shit more so than the empathic, because empathic just makes it sound more like supernatural and mystic, and
Mhm.
it's just like it's not like that. It's just more of like, do you care enough to have picked up on these on these cues, or are you just selfish and self-absorbed and you don't care?
Yeah, it's a whole thing.
It is.
It's a confusing thing, but
It is.
yeah, that's wild. So
Mhm. Something to think about.
I had a fun fact I wanted to end this episode on that I just learned from a crossword guy at Sammy's,
Love that.
but I
Okay.
can't remember what his was, but I do have another one.
Okay.
I learned this today as well. I
It's
really
like I
wish I could
have a
remember
fun
his.
fact, but I don't know it.
Yeah, his was so much better than the other one I'm about to tell you, and maybe I'll remember it and I can tell it in the next episode. But
There you go. There you go.
so
Write it down next time.
yeah, I when it comes to trees and plants,
Mhm.
you water them,
Mhm.
whatever, and the sun plays a big part.
Mhm.
And so tell me, why does a plant, how am I trying to say this? A plant grows towards the sun is what I'm saying.
Yes. Yes. Towards the
So,
light.
and I always thought, okay, like you can't grow a plant in a dark room because it's got to have that light.
Mhm.
But one thing I learned is plants and trees and stuff also need wind.
Okay.
And
Okay.
the reason is, so as let's say as a tree is growing from a baby tree,
Mhm.
if it's growing outside, it has the wind and it's pushing it around. Therefore, when it's pushing outside of its limits of straightness, it's
Mhm.
at the same time making this plant stronger and more resilient to the movement. So, if you have a plant
Mm.
growing in a windy area and it grows up, it's going to be a really strong plant.
Nice.
I really,
Okay.
really, really, really hate that I forgot crossword guys fun fact because it was so much better. Now that I just put that out loud, I just feel stupid. I mean, it's a.
No, I didn't know that either
I mean,
though.
it's a
Like I
cool
didn't know
thing,
that
but
the wind.
I just think the other one was better. But this has been a fun episode.
It has.
It's been a sad one, but at the same time, I think we pointed out a lot of a lot of cool things, or not
I
cool,
do
but
too.
a lot of things that are involved in these types of situations. And
Yes. Give you something to think about.
like I
Stew
said in the
on.
beginning, like this most recent one, Monday with the ambulance, it
That's awful.
it
That
hit
breaks my
it
heart.
it hit home to me, and I didn't know this girl. I don't know a lot of paramedics or anything around the area, but I do know a lot of Cleveland County people, and I know it struck the community pretty hard,
Oh, I would imagine. And that's
especially
my
considering the
heart.
way it happened.
Yeah, no, I mean it's awful because again, I mean you start your shift, right? She'd probably just started her
She
shift.
did. She literally. It was her
And
first
that was her
call.
first call. Yeah, and it's like you start your shift, you're doing your job, you're
She,
going along, and then your life is lost, and then the people that know you are affected, your family's affected, the community, like you said, is affected. Like it's just, and it's so stupid.
hmm
Like it's just
It didn't have to
stupid
happen. Yeah,
No,
it didn't
not at
have to happen.
all.
That's the biggest thing
Did
about
not
it.
at
It did not
all.
have to happen, and it makes you think
No.
about too, like these paramedics working in an ambulance, like when they're working on somebody in the back, they're not buckled in. But
No, they
like
can't
my
be,
automatic
right?
thought
You
is
can't be
like,
restricted.
yeah, my automatic thought is like, this is a big vehicle. Like it would be hard for something to really happen, but apparently
Apparently not.
no. And
I mean, not if you're going fast enough. That is no,
my
that's awful.
my thoughts and prayers go out to all the families and everybody, and
Absolutely.
even the guy that
I
caused
agree.
it.
I agree.
I feel bad for him, and I wish the best for him. I know deep down he didn't mean it, and he feels bad.
Yes, I agree. I would imagine he does just is wrecked with guilt, and that's awful. And again, his friends and family are also
Right,
affected.
right,
So absolutely. I mean, it's just, they always say that there's always two victims in every crime, right? It's
right,
not
right.
just the main one. It's the one who perpetrated it as well. And it's just heartbreaking.
And to anybody listening, please don't just hate this guy and just make him out to be the devil himself. Like we all make mistakes
We're human.
constantly. We do think like some make mistakes that are bigger than others. Like it's life, and I believe without mistakes there would not be happiness, or nobody would learn anything. We would just, it would be a
No,
shit show.
we only learn from our mistakes and our embarrassments, not our
100%.
successes. So learn from this story if you need
Yeah.
it, right? Think about it, think twice, and again, reach out to the people you give a shit about and make sure everybody's okay. And if they need anything or extra support or just anything, because we have to be looking out for our own a lot more than I think we do now. So
I agree. I agree. Times are
mhm,
wild, and
they are.
and
And
it's,
there are worse things out there. And so if we can just keep our circles good and happy and healthy as much as possible, we can get through the other shitty shit.
I agree. I agree.
Yep.
Well, it's been another good episode.
Yep.
As soon as we get off here, I'm gonna go edit it and upload it, and then people can listen to it. Sorry.
Excuse you.
Yeah, excuse me.
Okay, excuse you.
That came from the depths.
It did. That
Yeah.
was building way far down
Yeah.
because that was projected real good there. That wasn't one of those little wussy in the throat ones. No, that came from
Yeah.
intestine.
I worked on that.
Yeah.
All right. I love you, Amanda.
All right, love you, mean it.
It's been
Mwah.
awesome. I hope you have a great rest of your Sunday.
Awesome, you too.
Thanks for listening to Reckless Banter. Go subscribe, even though I don't fucking like telling you to go subscribe. Just do it anyway.
Just do it.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. We're out of here.
Bye.
Bye.